We've talked about what it means to pay people a wage that they can live on. We've spoken about what it means to have access to health care as a right and not a privilege. We talked to them about real criminal justice reform.
There's a certain kind of feeling after a big progressive win when you wake up the next day and realize that, yes, this movement is happening. This movement is successful, and it continues to be successful even when all the odds are against you. So last night, Andrew Gillum pulled out a huge upset victory over his opponents in the Democratic primary for governor. So here are the results, with Gillum taking 34.3% of the vote, when Gwen Graham was really expected to win this race. So part of the reason why this was a massive upset is because of the spending. So when you look at the primary spending, whether it's Levine, Green, Graham, or King, Gillum was outspent by all of them, yet he came out on top. And I want to show you some reaction from Gillum, but before I get there, let me just break down who Gillum is. So Gillum, 39, is the mayor of Tallahassee. He's running on a progressive platform that includes Medicare for all and a $15 minimum wage, and has been endorsed by Bernie Sanders and progressive billionaire Tom Steyer. Gillum is originally from Miami, one of 7 children. The nominee's mother was a city bus driver, and his father was a construction worker. He spoke about his family's humble beginnings in a March campaign ad. And that campaign ad is about 6 minutes long, and if you want to check it out, I'll link to it below my video. Now, let me show you a bit of Gillum's reaction when he went on Morning Joe this morning.
How did you shock the political world?
Yeah, well, first of all, good morning, Joe, and to everyone there. It feels real good. We had over 500,000 people come out yesterday and support the underdog candidate at a very, very grassroots level. I think my 4 opponents combined may have spent close to $90 million to our 6. And it was the voices and the activism of everyday folks all across this state, in red areas, blue areas, purple areas of this state, who came together to elect me the Democratic nominee for governor of the state of Florida. What we've been talking about are the issues that concern everyday people. We've talked about what it means to pay people a wage that they can live on. We've spoken about what it means to have access to health care as a right and not a privilege. We talked to them about real criminal justice reform. And these were issues that showed up for us time and time again. Education. Florida right now, average teacher pay in the state of Florida is the 45th lowest of all 50 states. We're the 3rd largest state in America. And yet we're back of the pack on some of the most important areas that matter. So Ron DeSantis can talk about race and liberalism and whatever else he wants to. I'm going to be clearly focused on the issues that confront everyday Floridians. And I honestly believe that that is what's going to allow us to carry this thing to victory on November 6th. It's not by running to or from or left or right, but running directly toward the people of our state. That's what I did in this primary, and that's what we're going to do in the general.
So, as you saw there, Gillum is bold and specific on the issues. And I think a major part of his victory here was that he campaigned around the state with Bernie Sanders. So after his win, he tweeted this out. "We could not have done it without you, Senator Bernie Sanders. Let's win in November. Hashtag bring it home." So clearly the progressive message was vital in securing this win. And having someone like Bernie Sanders out there campaigning around Florida with him allowed him to have this platform to deliver that message that was able to overcome the fact that he was outspent in the race. So this is something I'm noticing a lot with these progressive wins. Diversity plus a bold progressive platform is equaling to a lot of victories. So whether it's Ocasio-Cortez, whether it's Gillum here, whether it's Stacey Abrams, Ben Jealous, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, these are all candidates that are diverse candidates that have a bold, very specific progressive platform, and also have the backing of people like Bernie Sanders who are able to help them deliver that messaging. So this is, people will say that, or I've seen people say that diversity doesn't matter at all. But diversity does matter. If you care about winning over people that maybe aren't necessarily into politics generally, diversity matters. It helps you get the message out there to voting blocs that aren't necessarily or aren't historically interested in voting. And it also helps with mainstream news. So if you've noticed, since Ocasio-Cortez's big win, the media has been all over her. And look, her message isn't much different than Bernie Sanders. But because she is a young candidate, a young diverse candidate that is pushing these ideas forward, she's getting a lot of attention. And you're also going to notice this, that same thing now with Gillum, who I'm seeing today. A lot of the mainstream news is really pushing this guy out there and saying that this is a big win for progressives. So diversity matters in terms of getting mainstream press on your campaign, and also in terms of reaching out to candidates to voters that don't normally come out to vote. So strategically, even if you want to say that diversity doesn't matter in terms of policy, even though I would also disagree with you there, at the very least, you have to acknowledge that diversity does matter in terms of strategy. Now, of course, policy comes first, no matter what. So as long as you are supporting a living wage, as long as you're supporting Medicare for all, criminal justice, other progressive issues, then that's what matters most. But diversity in terms of strategy, and I think in terms of your personal experience and being able to speak to a lot of these issues, that does help as well in delivering this progressive message out there and being able to pull out some of these victories. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button below and consider becoming a patron at therationalnational.com/join. You get some extra content, but also, most importantly, you help support me in continuing to produce these sorts of videos.